So I sent my SIR, and even though my dad makes less than $10,000 a year, and my mom doesn't support me at all. I haven't seen her for the longest time ever. Yeah, no one else in my family really supports me economically. Like, yeah, they don't give me anything for tuition. So I was like, well, I'm just going to apply to scholarship for many scholarships and see what happens. Just try my best, and fortunately I was able to get enough scholarships to come to Berkeley the first year. But then I had to live in Davis with my best friend's sister. And at first I didn't know, I had no notion, and I didn't, I didn't know how far Berkeley was from Davis, and it turned out to be like a 4-hour commute every day. And yeah, I remember the first day of school, I was like, okay, I have to take this shuttle. And that first week, the buses didn't run from my best friend's sister's apartment to UC Davis, where the bus was supposed to, that was the bus stop. So I had to walk all the way over there, and it was probably like 1.5 hours walking. I remember I wasn't prepared for all that, walking, and on my way back, I just took off my shoes and walked barefoot and carrying all my books, and I just didn't expect all that. And every day was just a bizarre routine. Waking up like at 5, coming to school, eating $1 burgers because, my budget was like so tight that I couldn't, afford to even eat decently. And yeah, I couldn't get any jobs that first semester because all of them required a social security number. Obviously, I couldn't drive, which would have been much easier from Davis to UC Berkeley because undocumented students can't get they can't get financial aid, but they can't get also a driver's license. It's like you have no way identification. You go to some place and they ask you for your ID. The only thing that you can show is your school ID. And so yeah, that was my first semester. And then getting home at 9:30 and do my homework, not going to sleep. Then eventually I was able to move to Oakland, which is much closer, and it's still a hostile environment. I mean Berkeley, and I don't think. I could be just living on campus like everyone else. I could be just going to the gym every day, going to all these parties, clubs, have a normal life like everyone else, Why not? What have I done to deserve this? I have been just drawn into this situation that I did not really volunteer to be part of. And yes, and I remember I wrote an editorial for the Daily Cal a few months ago, on behalf of the DREAM Act. And I remember that people, students on campus were like, okay, she's such a radical, that's, BS, everything that she's saying. And there was even a student who wrote a notepad on response of that, of the piece I wrote. And it was just debating and saying, contradicting everything I was saying. When it's pretty obvious that I think undocumented students need financial aid as soon as possible. And I was fortunate enough, and I still live in this really hostile situation, but there's so many people that didn't have this opportunity. I had this friend, she had all A's in her transcripts. she was a really good student. She came here when she was like 3 months old. She didn't even speak Spanish that well. And, well, she got into many UCs, but she didn't have enough money she wasn't getting enough scholarships either. So she didn't end up attending any school. So now she's like working, 2 jobs. And I don't think, no one deserves that. I mean, education is for everyone. It's a right. It's not a privilege. What else? Well, I remember, lately, a few months ago, I got a job, and now I'm working like 20 hours a week and studying, full-time job. Works. And you had to get a card from like each deck. And one girl took a card that said restaurant, and then took another card that had an I. And she was supposed to say like a sentence or a word that started with I. Something like, I think the question said, what can you find at a restaurant? And she said illegal immigrants. And I remember that I was so outraged, and no one else said anything. She apologized, but everyone else was like, okay, that's true. They're nice people, but that's true, and you don't have to apologize for that.
Wow.
So yes, this is why I think the DREAM Act should be enacted as soon as possible. Yeah.